Tashile.
Hi to Frank.
I'm sure.
So, yeah. Welcome to everyone. Thank you all for joining us for our second edition of the global virtual group Nolsang Incense Puja. Huh?
No picture.
Can you hear us?
Wait, it's not. Okay, it's just loading now. Wait, it's not. Okay, it's loading now.
Okay. So, first thing, as we kind of get set up here, and I think a few more people are going to join us. So I know in the traditional Nolsang Incense Puja text, then there's many different substances that are to be offered, but many might not have the whole array of offerings, so it's okay. So at the very least, what we have done here, we have various incense sticks, incense powder, we have some fresh flowers, and we have various kinds of flour, Flour, and then we put also the if you have the 3 whites and 3 sweets, you can put that in as well. Then if you read the Nolsang Incense Puja text, you'll see the various substances. So whatever you have is good. And hopefully between our global community, we have most, if not all, of the substances. But in any case, as it says, whether we do the actually arranged or mentally created offerings through visualization, then the merit is the same. So we'll just try our best. Okay? All right. So now, if you don't have the text, it's in the show notes below. Otherwise, if somehow that doesn't work, you can just use the magic of Google and Google FPMT, Nolsang, Nolsang, Incense Puja. Okay. So first, as people are getting set up here as well, then most important thing is that we set a very positive motivation. So let's just take a few minutes to reflect on the motivation. So please think that the purpose of my life is to benefit all sentient beings. Sentient beings who have been my mother, not just once, but countless times since beginningless samsaric rebirth, during which time they showered me with incredible kindness, love, and affection, taking care of my every need, feeding me, clothing me, educating me. And yet now, when we look at the situation in the world, so many sentient beings are suffering, of course, due to the temporary condition of the disease and economic problems, natural disasters, war. But even more fundamental is because sentient beings have created the cause for suffering, namely negative karma. Negative karma that has been created because sentient beings are totally under the control and influence of the disturbing emotions, anger, jealousy, pride, and so forth. And those afflictions run rampant because all sentient beings are completely enshrouded by the darkness of ignorance, clinging to the true existence of all phenomena. So therefore, in order for sentient beings to be free from their suffering, they need to be free of the cause of suffering. And therefore, so we can guide them to be free of the suffering, we need to establish them in the correct view, the correct realization of emptiness. And in order to do that, we ourselves must first become completely enlightened. Then and only then will we have the ability, the knowledge, the skills to guide sentient beings, to lead sentient beings from the oceans of samsaric suffering to the state of complete enlightenment. And therefore, in order that we may be able to achieve enlightenment, we need to accumulate the causes, particularly the collection of merit and transcendental wisdom. We also need to purify all the obscurations to enlightenment, the negative karmas and the obscurations which exist within our minds. And therefore, we're going to do this incense puja. And then also, this puja has been recommended by our gurus to help cleanse away the impurities, the contaminations of the world in this degenerate age. These contaminations which then lead to illnesses, famine, various natural disasters, and so forth. So we're also doing this for all the sentient beings here in the world, for all of these problems that we're facing collectively as a global community, for them to be immediately pacified by the end of this puja. And then we're also doing this to purify all the sentient beings of all their negative karma, obscurations to both liberation and omniscience, and in particular to purify sentient beings from the karmic obscurations that would prevent them from being continually guided by the perfect spiritual friends like His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So once then these negative karmas are completely purified, then sentient beings will be able to always and continually be guided by these perfect spiritual friends. And in that way, they can practice well the Mahayana Dharma and receive all the realizations, especially bodhicitta and the realization of emptiness. And that way, achieve enlightenment in this very lifetime. So in short, for all sentient beings, vast is the vastness of space, to be instantly freed from all their suffering and receive all the required conditions, all the food, wealth, medicine, medical equipment, everything that's needed for them to sustain life, for them to meet with the Holy Dharma and the Holy Gurus and quickly attain enlightenment. That's why we're doing this puja. Okay, so we'll start, before we get into the actual practice text, we'll start with the going for refuge and developing, generating bodhicitta. So many of you know, but we'll visualize our Guru in the aspect of Shakyamuni Buddha in the space in front of us. Our Guru encompasses all three jewels of refuge. the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So recalling his qualities and his kindness, thinking that he's actually come to this place to help us purify our minds of negative karma, help us accumulate extensive merit. We also visualize all the sentient beings around us. And as we do this practice, we can think that all sentient beings are doing this practice with us. And now as we go for refuge and generate bodhicitta, all sentient beings are generating refuge and bodhicitta with us. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. By my merits of giving and the other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. By my merits of giving and the other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. By my merits of giving and the other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Okay, so now we'll bless the incense before we light it. So I hope many of you have already read or listened to Rinpoche's last lecture, where he talked about the 5 very powerful mantras for purification. So as we did last time, the one mantra, Bimale Humpe, is a very precious mantra. So it's the one that is put above doorways. It's also the one that if you recite it and then blow on a musical instrument like a bell or cymbals, then anyone who hears the sound of that musical instrument, their negative karma, especially the very heavy negative karma of the 5 immediate karmas experienced without break, are purified. And so another benefit is that then if you recite the mantra and then you blow on incense, then any sentient being that gets touched by the smoke of the incense, also their negative karma gets purified. So yeah, so let's just do a little bit here, and then you can blow on your incense. Om Pema Ushi Jambi Male Humpe, 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 Om Pema Ushi Jambi Male Humpe. Om Pema Ushi Jambi Male Humpe, 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 Om Pema Ushi Jambi Male Humpe. Om Pema Ushi Jambi Male Humpe, 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 Om Pema Ushi Jambi Male Humpe. Om Pema Ushi Jambi Male Humpe, 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 Om Pema Ushi Jambi Male Humpe. Om Pema Ushi Jambi Male Humpe, Om Pema Ushi Jambi Male Humpe, Om Pema Ushi Jambi Male Humpe, Om Pema Ushi Jambi Male Humpe. Om Pema Ushi Jambi Male Humpe, 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 Om Pema Ushi Jambi Male Humpe. Okay. So I said this last time as well, but that mantra, unbelievable benefits. And so especially with this one, blowing, reciting the mantra and then blowing on even a bell or the tingsha or something. So many of you now, if you're living in cities, can't go outside, then, you know, even you go to your balcony, you recite this, you then ring the bell, and then everyone who's in earshot of that, who can hear, then even they never meet you, even they're never able to thank you, but you've given them so much benefit. So please, we try to do what we can for others. Yeah. All right. So do you have the paper? Okay. So now I hope many of you have read a little bit in the practice booklet about the history of this practice. But in short, this practice was taught by Guru Rinpoche when there was many problems occurring in a particular region of Tibet due to contamination of a child having, died, and then the mother having lied about it. So due to that contamination, through his kindness and compassion for sentient beings, he then taught this practice to then purify the contamination in a particular region. And so now, many of you know that Khadro had recommended this puja be done for the pacification of all the problems in the world, but particularly the COVID-19 crisis. And so actually Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Khadro and others were trying to organize lamas to go to various places in Nepal to do this practice. But now Nepal is in a lockdown, and so they weren't able to do. So some of them were able to do the Nolsang Incense Puja in their own monasteries. But we thought it would be good to do this kind of global session. So all of you in your own respective places, many countries around the world, we can do this to also purify the environment in your respective places. So this puja actually was also done last summer in France, in Vajrayogini Institute. Rinpoche saw through his omniscient wisdom that it would be good for Venerable Charles, as well as many others who are sick and facing intractable illnesses and disease. So when we did it there in Lavour, we first did the invoking praises and prayers to Guru Rinpoche. Guru Rinpoche, who made special commitments to help pacify the signs of degeneration in this, Kali Yuga, the degenerate time. And so now here, let's also just start the practice first by doing the 7-line prayer to Guru Rinpoche. So those of you who have been joining us in the normal daily prayers, you will know. Otherwise, many of you would have this. Many of you would have this memorized, I hope. Okay. So let's recite together. So visualizing our Guru in the aspect of Guru Padmasambhava in the space in front. Then as we do this invocation, as we do these prayers, then we can visualize that replicas of Guru Rinpoche pervade the entire world, right? And it's like snowflakes falling. And then all the sentient beings, these Guru Rinpoches, dissolve into them. And through the power of our recitation, through the power of Guru Rinpoche, then all sentient beings are completely purified from all of their negative karma, all of their illnesses, disease, all of their spirit harm, all of their obscurations to both liberation and enlightenment. And they also receive all the realizations on the path, especially the realization of bodhicitta. and the realization of emptiness. Okay. Khadro Namsel Dorje Rinpoche. Oye yugi nanja sam dema gesa dompola yasen shogi ngunju ne bema junne shesura kodo kandro mambo ko kege jesu dadugi chingi laje shesu so guru bema siddhi Oye yugi nanja sam dema gesa dompola Yasen shogi ngunju ne pema junne shesura kodo kandro mambo ko keke jesu dadugi chingi laji sheksu so guru pema siddhi. So now we can also do the Dusum Sangye Guru Rinpoche prayer. O Dusum Sangye Guru Rinpoche Ngudru Kunda Dawa Chimpusha Bache Kunzel Dudu Drapo Sel Solawa Dapso Jingi Labdu Jinan Sawe Bache Shiwa Dan Sampa Lungi Drupi Jingi Lo Dusum Sangye Guru Rinpoche Ngudru Kunda Dawa Chimpusha Bache Kunzel Dudu Drapo Sel Sova Dapso Jingi Latu So Shina Sawe Bache Shiwa Dan Sampa Lungi Drupa Jingi Lo Dusun Sangye Guru Rinpoche Gudru Kunda Dewa Chimpusha Bache Kunzel Dudu Drapo Sel Sova Dapso Jingi Latu So Jinan Sawe Bache Shiva Dan Sampa Lungi Drupa Jingi Lo Om Ahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Hum Om Ahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Ahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi. So now as we recite the Vajraguru mantra Om Ahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Hum, we can continue with a visualization that these replicas of Guru Rinpoche then pervade the entire realm of space in the 10 directions, dissolving into sentient beings, purifying them of all of their illness, spirit harms, negative karmas, and obscurations, and establishing them in the state of Padmasambhava. Om Ahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Ahum. Om Ahum. Om Ahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om. Okay, so now at the end, just rest in the awareness that now all sentient beings are completely purified and have attained the state of Guru Rinpoche's enlightenment. Okay. now we'll do the actual lighting of the incense and blessing of the incense. But actually, maybe before we do that, so in order to bless the offering substances, then one should first arise in the aspect of a deity. So this is for those of you who have the requisite initiations. So first, here, Rinpoche recommended maybe one can arise as most secret high Griva, or whoever you like, whichever enlightened being you wish. So first we purify ordinary appearances into emptiness. Om Sabhava Shuddha Savadama Sabhava Shuddhaham Tompani Du Dur. Everything becomes empty. Then you think instantaneously I rise as the most secret high Griva. Okay. So now, if you haven't noticed, it's very, very windy here, which is good because later we're going to, all of this smoke from the incense is going to then purify the entire realm of existence. So it's good. So now you can light the incense in your respective place. Please remembering to recite Om Ahum as you light it. Oh, Sarah, will this help if you use a... Oh, the wind just died down here momentarily. So the devas are on our side. Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum. Don't like that. But yeah, it'll be okay. Or if you could maybe take a little punch, or yeah.
This?
Yeah, I don't know. These don't light very well.
This go?
You can try. Oh. Okay.
You need to do like the. You need to first light the. You need to first light the. This. I think people can't see actually the incense, so it should be incense.
But maybe Before you need to light it, no?
So these are already lit. So okay. 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 So you can tell we're on live television here. So come on. Okay. So there's something lit there. At least a few. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I hope you had more success in lighting your incense. And anyway, we're offering it all together now. So I think many of you know there's the offering cloud mantra, but let's first do this, okay? Okay, so now you can open your actual practice text on page 7, the actual practice. So blessing the incense substances. Should we wait for Sarah? Okay. Rayam Kam, Rayam Kam, Rayam Kam. May all the filth and impurities of the incense substances be burned, scattered, washed away, and cleansed into emptiness. Om Sabhava Shuddha Sarvadhamma Sabhava Shuddho Ham. So think that the incense substances become empty. From the sphere of emptiness, the letter broom appears, from which a vast and spacious precious vessel appears. In this vessel, the letters Om Ahum melt, and from this arises the incense substances. They are in the aspect of objects of offering that please the senses, having color, odor, and the taste of excellent potential. The inconceivable smoky cloud endowed with special capacity to dispel all impurities, defilements, and faults, pervades the entire sky, space, and earth. Okay. Okay, so now reciting this, we're on the top of page 8 with the Space Treasure mantra and mudra. Nama Sava Tathagata Tathagate Byo Visha Mukhe Bya Sarva Kam Udgate Sabara Inam Gagana Kam Soha
Nama Sarva Tathagata Byo Vishwa Mukhe Bya Sarvata Kam Udgate Sabara Inam Gagana Kam Soha
Nama
Sarva Tathagata Byo Vishwa Mukhe Byo Sarvata Kam Udgate Sabara Imam Gagana Kam Soha
Nama
Sarva Tathagata Byo Vishwa Mukhe Bya Sarvata
Kam Udgate Sabara Inam
Gagana
Gagana
Kam
Kam
Soha
Nama
Sarva Tathagata Byo Vishwa Mukhe Bya Sarvata Kam Udgate Svarana Imam Gagana Kam Soha
Nama
Sarva Tathagata Byo Vishwa Mukhe Bya Sarvata Kam Udgate Svarana Imam Gagana Kam Soha
Nama
Sarva Tathagata Byo Vishwa Mukhe Bya Sarvata Kam Udgate Svarana Imam Gagana Kam Soha
Nama
Sarva Tathagata Byo Vishwa Mukhe Bya Sarvata Kam Udgate Svarana Imam Gagana Kam Soha
Nama Sava Tathagate Byo Visha Mukhe Bya Sarvata Kam Udgate Savarani Inam Gagana Kam Soha Vaja Spara Ham Namo, invoking the power of my intention, the power of the generosity of the ones thus gone, and the power of the sphere of reality. May all the aims and all the wishes, all of them, whatever they are, be filled without obstruction for the sake of sentient beings. Okay, so now actually here, we'll do also the offering cloud mantra that many of you know. So, yes, everywhere may the ground be pure, free of the roughness of pebbles and so forth. May it be in the nature of lapis lazuli and as smooth as the palm of one's hand. May human and divine offerings actually arranged and mentally created. Clouds of finest Samantabhadra offerings fill the entire space. So now as we do the offering cloud Dharani, think that the incense cloud, completely pervades the entire universe, as well as all the offering substances you have on your altars, all the various students' altars, all the various Dharma centers, everything that's pure, everything that's also nice and unowned in the universe, like all the stars in the sky, those then come to pervade the entire universe, okay? Om Namo Bhagavate Vajrasara Pamadana
Tathagata Arahata Samyasambuddhaya Tayata Om Vaja Vaja Ma Vaja Ma Daja Vaja Ma Vija Vaja
Ma Bodhi Chira Vaja Ma Bodhi Mandapa Sangramana Vaja Sarva Karma Avarana Vishodana Vaja Soha Om Namo Bhagavate Vajrasara Pamadana
Tathagata Arahata Samyasambuddhaya Tayata Om Vaja Vaja Ma Vaja Ma Daja Vaja Ma Vija Vaja Ma Bodhi Chitta Vaja Ma Bodhi Mandapa Sangramana Vaja Sarva Karma Avarana Vishodana Vaja Soha
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vajrasara Pamadana Tathagata Arahata Samyasambuddhaya Tayata Om Vaja Vaja Ma Vaja Ma Daja Vaja Ma Vija Vaja Ma Bodhi Chitta Vaja Ma Bodhi Mandapa Sangramana Vaja Sarva Karma Avarana Vishodana
Vajraya Soha. By the power of the truth of the three rare sublime ones, the blessings of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the great might of the completed two collections, and the sphere of phenomena being pure and inconceivable, may these piles of clouds of offerings arising through transformations by the Bodhisattvas, Samantabhadra, Manjushri, and so forth,
unimaginable and inexhaustible, equaling the sky, arise in the eyes of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, be received.
So now think that due to the power of reciting the offering cloud Dharani, by the power of the words of truth, that all the offering substances, particularly the clouds of incense, come to pervade the entire 10 directions. So then they become suitable to then be offered to all the gurus, the Buddhas, the Yidams, Buddha Dharma and Stanga, Bodhisattvas, Dakas, Dakinis, Arhats, as well as all the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha statues, stupas, scriptures in the 10 directions, who are all manifestations of our root guru. Then when the gurus received offerings, they experienced great bliss within their mental continua. And this mind experiencing great bliss also realizes directly both the conventional nature of the offering substances, the sweet fragrance of the smoke, sweet fragrance of the incense, and so forth, as well as its ultimate nature. That these phenomena, these offering substances completely lack even an atom of inherent existence. Okay. And then we think that our gurus, the Dharma protectors, Dakas Dakinis, they become very inspired, they become very pleased, and they become very inspired to help the sentient beings of this degenerate age purify their negative karmas and grant all the realizations of the path all the way into including complete enlightenment. Okay. So then we also make charity of these offerings, the incense offering, the other offerings we have. We make charity to all the numberless hell beings. So think that then this incense, the smoke from the incense, covers, pervades all the hell beings. And then the smoke from the incense completely purifies all of their negative karma and obscurations. And they attain the state of enlightenment. Then we think that all this smoke from the blessed incense pervades all the hungry ghosts, all the pretas, completely purifying them from all their negative karma, mental afflictions, and obscurations to both liberation and enlightenment. And they become enlightened. So you can think they become enlightened in the aspect of the deity you practice, most secret Hayagriva, or Chenrezig, Guru Rinpoche. Then we make charity to all the numberless animal beings who become pervaded by this smoke, which then purifies all their negative karma and obscurations, and they become enlightened in the aspect of the holy deity. Then we make offerings, we make charity of this incense to all the human beings. The incense then purifies all the humans from all their sickness, all of their negative karma, all of their obscurations to both liberation and enlightenment, and they become enlightened in the aspect of the deity. We make charity of this incense to all the numberless asura beings. The smoke comes to pervade them as well. And then merely being touched by the smoke, they're instantly purified of all their negative karma, obscurations to both liberation and enlightenment. Hey!
Continue. Extra smoke. You need to continue.
Wow. We found the eye. Good. More obstacles, then the more purification. So we had a bit of an explosion here.
I hope nothing is damaged.
No, it's just the lighter. Just the lighter.
It was a lighter. That's why their whole solar system.
Okay.
We can
So we
continue.
Who was that? The whole beings, vulnerable beings?
So we now make offering of this incense to all the suras, all the sura beings. Then the smoke, when it touches them, instantly purifies all their negative karma, as well as all their obscurations to both liberation and enlightenment. And they attain enlightenment in the aspect of the deity. We make all these offerings. We make charity of the incense to all the intermediate state beings, all the beings in the bardo. Then merely being touched by the incense, they're instantly purified from all their negative karma and obscurations, both to liberation and enlightenment, and attain enlightenment in the aspect of the holy deity. And then so now, especially also thinking that the incense now pervades the entire world and purifies all the pollution on the place due to people's wrong actions, broken samaya, and so forth. And therefore, all of the beings who are normally upset by the pollution, the nagas, the landlords, and so forth, they become very pleased. Okay. All right. You're. Okay. So, yes. Now we can do the actual Nolsang text on page 8. Okay. So the essence of the puja is already done there, but now we just elaborate. Okay. Okay. Pray, listen. All sentient beings are contaminated by the darkness of ignorance.
The
Five
five
poisonous delusions contaminate the five wisdom deities. The non-virtues of the three doors contaminate the body, speech, and mind. The generation of ethical conduct contaminates the body, the kinis. Degenerated pledges contaminate the Vajra masters. Miserly offerings of feasts and ritual cakes contaminate the mother goddess and the kinis. Offering the leftovers instead of the first portion contaminates the Dharma protectors and guardians. Accumulating with five miscellaneous contaminates oath-bound protectors of the doctrine. Disturbed concentration contaminates the mundane mother goddesses. Confused affectionate love contaminates Vajra brothers and sisters. Disturbing hatred contaminates the peaceful deities. Disturbing pride contaminates the increasing deities. Disturbing attachment contaminates the empowering deities. Disturbing jealousy contaminates the wrathful deities. Disturbing ignorance contaminates the clarifying deities. The bad smoke from the smell of burnt white and red substances contaminates the low deities. Fighting and quarreling contaminates the traveling deities. An unclean hearth contaminates the household deities. Impure smell contaminates the refuge deities. And especially birth pollution contaminates the deities, nagas, and spirits who reside on the surface of the earth, underground or in space. These also contaminate the innermost deities, the wealth deities, the household deities, and the landlord, the body, speech, and mind, as well as the word deities and the shoulder deities. Pray listen. Contamination of the body makes one's complexion dull and weakens the body. It provokes unclear sight and pain in the head, neck, and trunk. Contamination of the speech makes one choke or stammer when speaking and mute. It provokes excessive saliva and mucus and swelling of the mouth and the root of tongue. Contamination of mind generates unhappiness, irritation, forgetfulness, sleepiness, and proneness of night. Contamination of the head provokes dizziness, obscured sight, and deafness. Contamination of the limbs causes paralysis, arthritis, and numbness. Contamination of the male organ prevents impotence and excess of lymphatic veins. Contamination of the female organ causes sterility. Contamination of the support impedes the accumulation of basic activities. Contamination of the warrior deity causes the enemy to attack directly. Contamination of the traveling deity makes one confused and parted from friends. Contamination of the guest deities impedes the guests from accomplishing their aims. Contamination of the family deity causes restlessness. Contamination of the local deity provokes civil war and famine. Contamination of the deity of the house causes sucking sounds. Contamination of the deity of sound causes oppositions and rejection. Contamination of the wealth deity provokes loss and decline. Contamination of the livestock deity causes balding and inauspicious omens. Contamination of the field deity diminishes the field. Contamination of the heart deity makes the food deficient in nutrients, lacking, and bewitched. Contamination of the deity of gain causes epidemics, diseases, demons to enter the food. Contamination of weapons causes armor to tear and sharp blades to go blunt. Contamination of the stallion causes its spine, mane, head, and limbs to degenerate. Contamination of watchdog impedes it from barking and deteriorates its olfactory sense. Contamination of one's good fortune causes ensnarement by immoral people. Contamination of power causes forgetfulness and weakens the senses. Contamination of the deity of success makes the mind scattered and prevents the accomplishment of one's goal. Contamination of the deity of the body causes sleepiness and loss of mindfulness. Contamination of the naga of the body makes one's flesh protrude and bulge. Contamination of the shoulder deity causes one's sheen and luster to degenerate. Contamination of the supporting guardian deity provokes unhappiness. Contamination of the deity of the body causes deterioration of the muscles and weakening of one's strength. Contamination of the bones provokes pain and harm by the parasites. Contamination of the blood provokes the loss of essential drops and separation of blood and pus. Contamination of the skin causes bursting blisters and itchiness. Contamination of the ligaments, sinews, and nerves causes arthritis, numbness, and swelling. Contamination of the hair provokes hair loss and scarring. Moreover, contamination due to incest or the murder of blood relations, filth, or stupidity. Contamination due to mourning for one's spouse or due to a childless couple. Contamination due to an illegitimate child or dripping menstruation. Contamination due to food, clothing, or smoke. Contamination of the heart. Contamination due to resentment.
contamination due to zombies, contamination due to those living who murder blood relations, contamination due to sinners, butchers, oath breakers, or murderers, contamination due to degenerated and unclean offerings made during a ransom ritual. All these contaminations and all other contaminated pollutions can be cleansed
by
wood from trees arising from 5 pure elements, supported by the earth and moisturized by water, nurtured by the warmth of fire and energized by the wind's movement.
Trees that have grown their roots in the Naga lands,
Their peaks reaching the gods' realms, the leaves and petals blossoming in the human world,
their scent pervading all directions without exception. Trees possessing color, smell, taste, potency, and energy. Among all woods, the supreme ones are
white and red sandalwood,
aloewood, Shoshing, Artemisia, Yushin, juniper, small yellow rhododendron,
birchwood, white blossoming tamarisk,
neem,
bamboo, neon tree, and golden flower,
male wood, female wood, child wood, and various woods.
the 3 sweet fruits, 6 excellent substances, and various medicines,
Bitter and astringent,
endowed with scent, taste, and potency, barley, rice, wheat, unhusked grain, mustard seed, many kinds of white and black grains, and so forth, fine brocades, precious gems, dairy extracts, and roasted barley flour mixed with butter,
Serkim offerings such as beer and syrups extracted from fruit juice,
the first pure portion of 3 whites and 3 pure sweets, meat, blood, and other burnt offerings of the 5 senses, and the blessed white and red pledged substances, likewise black and white frankincense, and many kinds of fragrant incense. These substances eliminate all outer,
inner, and secret, contaminated, pollution, burnt in fire,
washed with water, and well blown by wind. They become empty like space. From the letter Ram appears fire, which blazes and burns the supreme fragrance and the various burnt offerings,
which are thereby cleansed in the sphere of exalted wisdom, free of obscuration. Pray, listen. If contamination occurs due to ignorance, we purify the self-originated
wisdom
through this
incense offering. If contamination occurs due to the 5 bosons, we purify the 5 Buddha families through this incense offering. If contamination of 3 doors occurs by non-virtues, we purify the deities Rikayas through this incense offering. If contamination occurs due to broken commitments, we purify the body Dakinis through this incense offering. If contamination occurs due to offering the leftover instead of the first portion, we purify the guardian protectors through this incense offering. If contamination occurs due to miserly feasts and ritual cake offerings, we purify the mother goddesses and Dakinis through this incense offering. If contamination occurs in the degenerated pledges, we purify the Vajramasa through this incense offering.
If contamination occurs
To the confused afflicted love, we purify the Vajra brothers and sisters through this incense offering.
If contamination occurs due to
Mixed substances, we purify the Lord of Sangre through this incense offering. If contamination occurs due to mighty accumulation, we purify the deity of good fortune.
If contamination occurs due to enmity and impurity,
We purify the oath-bound guardians through this incense offering. If contamination occurs due to distorted concentration, we purify the mundane mother goddess through this incense offering. If
contamination occurs due to distorted love, we purify all the guests of compassion through this incense offering. If contamination occurs due to the affection of hatred, we purify the peaceful deities through this incense offering. If contamination occurs due to affliction of pride, we purify
The increasing deities through this incense offering. If contamination occurs due to the affliction of desirous attachment, we purify the empowering deities through this incense offering.
If contamination occurs due to affliction of jealousy, we purify the wrathful deities through this incense offering. If
Contamination occurs due to the affliction of ignorance, we purify the clarifying deities through this incense offering. If contamination occurs due to the affliction of harm, we purify the local deities through this incense offering. If contamination occurs due to the affliction of quarrels and resentment, we purify the household deities through this incense offering. If contamination occurs due to the defilement of impaired commitments, we purify the exalted
deities through this incense offering.
If contamination occurs due to impure smells, we purify the protector refuge deities through this incense offering. If contamination occurs,
barrenness, and charm from spirits,
we purify the deities of existence through the incense offering. If contamination occurs due to offenders and murderers, we purify the deities of men and enemy deities through the incense offering. If contamination occurs due to negative beings and butchers, we purify all the supreme deities through the incense offering. If contamination occurs due to fear of and murder of blood relations, we purify the purifying deities through the incense offering. If contamination occurs due to pollution of corpses, we purify the envy deities with incense offering. If contamination occurs due to the murder of blood relatives and zombies, we purify the 5 deities and the angel torch
through this incense offering.
If earth-owning contamination occurs, we purify the household deities and earth-owning deities through the incense offering. If contamination occurs due to scorching, we purify the father's deity and mother's deity through the incense offering. If contamination occurs due to widowhood, we purify the nurse goddess through the incense offering. If contamination of the body in general occurs, we purify the innate deities through the incense offering. If contamination of speech occurs, we purify the melodious deities and sound emptiness through the incense offering. If contamination of the mind occurs, we purify the mindful deities of clarity, emptiness through the incense offering.
If contamination
If flames occurs, we purify the troubling and gas deities through the incense offering. We offer this cleansing incense to the deities that eliminate energy.
we offer this cleansing incense to the deities that illuminate blueness.
We offer this cleansing incense to the deities that separate purity from filth.
We offer
This cleansing incense to the deities that purifies contaminations.
especially birth pollution, deities, nagas, and spirits who reside at the surface of the earth, underground or in space, the inner deities, door, wealth, household, and landlord, the body, speech, and mind, as well as warrior deities and shoulder deities, wealth deities, fortune deities, and clothes, wealth, and possessions. May all these which are defiled by contamination and impure pollution be completely cleansed by the multitudes of plants and supreme medicinal herbs, by the fragrance of the burnt offerings, and by immeasurable offering of outer, inner, and secret sensory enjoyments. Pray, listen. May the excellent fragrance and the smoke of these plants and medicinal herbs
Cleanse the contaminations of gurus and yidams. If wisdom deities become polluted by impurities, may they be purified by the fragrance of the various medicines and sandalwood. If worldly deities become polluted by impurities, may they be purified by the fragrance of sultry incense. If mother, sister, and dakini become polluted by impurities, may they be purified by the fragrance of gandharva. If dharma protectors and guardians become polluted by impurities, may they be purified by the fragrance of various types of meat and blood. If the Lord of Sangha becomes polluted by impurities, may he be cleansed by the fragrance of 3 wines and 3 sweets. If the 8 houses, deities, and demons become polluted by impurities, may they be purified by the fragrance of supreme medicinal sap. If the whole flower guardians and protectors become polluted by impurities, may they be purified by the fragrance of flour mixed with butter and boiled milk. If all the deities become polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of sultry incense and turquoise juniper. If the nagas become polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of the various naga medicines. If the deities of the land become polluted by the impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of colorful brocades, tiger, and leopards. If the floods become polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of nitrate and golden flowers. If the land-owning deities become polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of birchwood and rhododendron. If the local spirits become polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by fragrance of golden artemisia. If the original deities become polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of bamboo and 3 whites. If the wealth deities become polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of flour mixed with butter and first portion of food. If the fortune deities become polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of various gems. If the home deities become polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of various brocades. If the house deities become polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of first portion of meat and first portion of beer. If the field deities become polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of various flowers. If the deities of men become polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of various banners. If the enemy deities become polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of roasted barley flour mixed with butter and pure drink. If the traveling deities become polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of
Page 26.
If the guest deities become polluted by impurities and filth,
may they be purified by the fragrance of meat, beer, and liberations. If the deities of trade become polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of divine tree and rhododendron. If the body deities become polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of black and white frankincense. If the protected deities becomes polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of fruits and flowers. If the knowledge deities become polluted by impurities and filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of turquoise juniper and rhododendron. If the supporting deities become polluted by impurities and filth,
May they be purified by the fragrance of various types of incense and wood. If the body or arm becomes polluted by filth, may they be purified by the fragrance of divine water and various medicines. If food, wealth, and possessions become polluted by filth, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. May all become clear inside and outside, just like an oval-shaped crystal.
So then it says, while fumigating the representations of the holy body, speech, and holy mind with the smoke of the incense, say the following. So here, if you have, objects, holy body, speech, holy mind, that means statues, stupid scriptures, you can put them over the smoke of the incense. Pray, listen. Even if the gurus and tutelary deities are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood.
Even if the heroes and their kings are polluted, may they be cleansed by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the Dharma protectors and guardians are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the messengers and helpers are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the Lord of Sangha is polluted, may he be cleansed by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the 8 classes of deities and demons are polluted, may they be cleansed by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood.
Even if the world guardians are polluted,
may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even if the deities above are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even if the powerful deities residing in between are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even if the Nagas residing below are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even if the landlords and regional deities are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even if siblings and partners are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even if the mundane deities and protectors are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even if the grounds amongst the holy is polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even if the protected deities of Tantra are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the 5 deities of the angel are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the nurse goddess is polluted, may she be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the horse deity Penpo is polluted, may he be cleansed by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the wealth deity is called Chupo polluted, may he be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the sheep deity Menpo is polluted, may he be cleansed by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the goat deity Sermo is polluted, may he be cleansed by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the deity Brahma is polluted, may he be cleansed by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the inner deity Ketuk is polluted, may he be cleansed by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the door deity Dakyak is polluted, may he be cleansed by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the herb deity Yulmo is polluted, may he be cleansed by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the deities of men and warrior deities are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the wealth and fortune deities are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the cattle deities and treasure deities are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the friendly deities are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the traveling deities and guest deities are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood.
Pray, listen. Even if the deities and protectors of all of us, yogis,
Teachers and our ritual are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the stainless temples become polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even divine garments, robes, and armors are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even divine manifold ornaments are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even divine powerful sharp weapons are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even divine food of 100 flavors is polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even divine drinks of liberation are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even divine mighty horse Tenso is polluted, may he be cleansed by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even divine Yak Jalpo is polluted, may he be cleansed by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even divine great sheep Droma is polluted, may he be cleansed by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the divine watered goat Drava is polluted, may he be cleansed by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the flesh substance of protectors are polluted, may it be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the blazing offerings of the protectors are polluted, may it be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the offering substances and ritual options are polluted, may it be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the various support substances are polluted, may it be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. If there are oppositions to the holy minds of deities and protectors, may it be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood.
Pray, listen. even if the temporal power of all of us,
People, teachers, students, and all possessions is polluted,
may be purified
by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the auspicious tongue of the scholar is polluted, may it be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood.
even the auspicious mind of the Lord is polluted,
May it be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the pollutions of the youth's auspicious courage, may it be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood.
Even if the dexterous one's
auspicious sound is polluted,
May it be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood.
even if the auspicious accumulation of
Abundance is polluted, may it be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood.
even if the auspicious
Sweetness of silence is polluted, may it be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood.
even if the auspicious flourishing of cattle is polluted,
May it be purified by the medicinal fragrance of
fragrance
supreme
of
wood.
supreme wood,
Even the auspicious nutritious capacity of food is polluted,
may it be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood, even if the auspicious power of the king is polluted, may it be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood, even if the auspicious possessions of the wealthy are polluted, may it be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood, even if the auspicious flourishing of the affluent is polluted, may it be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood,
even the king, the wealthy, and the affluent are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Moreover, even the clothes and robes of all of us, yogis and rishis, are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood.
even if the armor and weapons that are worn are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood,
Even if the food and drink are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the bread and dough are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the carpets we sit on are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the people of the fortune and knowledge are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the servants and watchdogs are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the food, wealth, and possessions are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood.
even if power and
Influences are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the sheen and lust are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even if lifespan and merit are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Even the strength and good fortune are polluted, may they be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood.
So now it says, if there are specific sick people, recite the following section. So, yes, we'll now think of all the sentient beings who are sick, all the people whose names we've been given to pray for, and then even the ones we didn't get their names, they didn't ask for us to pray for them, we'll pray for them anyway. Pray, listen. May this medicinal fragrance of supreme wood purify the 5 poisonous delusions oppressing me, the generous benefactors and their revenues.
May this medicinal fragrance of supreme wood purify the attachment from which arises wind disease in me and the generous benefactors.
May this medicinal fragrance of supreme wood
Purify hatred from which arises vile disease
in me and the
generous benefactors.
May this medicinal fragrance of supreme wood
Purify ignorance from which arises plain disease in me and the generous benefactors. May this medicinal fragrance of supreme wood purify all the disease of the fourfold gathering in me and generous benefactors. May this medicinal fragrance of supreme wood purify the heart wind disease related to troubled spirits in me and the generous benefactors. May this medicinal fragrance of supreme wood purify the torments of lungs related to nagas and violent sense spirits in me and the generous benefactors. May this medicinal fragrance of supreme wood purify all liver disease related to landlord spirits in me and the generous benefactors.
May this medicinal fragrance of
Supreme wood purify the disease of spleen and lungs related to drova spirits in me and the generous benefactors. May this medicinal fragrance of supreme wood purify kidney disease related to nagas and yen spirits in me and the generous benefactors. May this medicinal fragrance of supreme wood purify chronic stomach diseases and the bewitched mind in me and the generous benefactors. May this medicinal fragrance of supreme wood purify all the diseases of the head and limbs in me and the generous benefactors. May this medicinal fragrance of supreme wood purify the disease of flesh and skin in me and the generous benefactors. May this medicinal fragrance of supreme wood purify the disease of blood and lymph in me and the generous benefactors. May this medicinal fragrance, supreme wood, purify the disease of the bones caused by parasites in me and the generous benefactors.
May this medicinal fragrance of
Supreme wood, purify the diseases of channels, ligaments, nerves, in me and the generous benefactors. May this medicinal fragrance, supreme wood, purify the generation, complexion, and senses, in me and the generous benefactors. May this medicinal fragrance of supreme wood, purify the generation of breath and consciousness, in me and the generous benefactors. May this medicinal fragrance of supreme wood, purify the generation of glory and mighty power, in me and the generous benefactors. May this medicinal fragrance, supreme wood, purify the generation of lifespan and merits in me and the generous benefactors. May this medicinal fragrance of supreme wood, purify the generation of good fortune, strength in me and the generous benefactors.
Furthermore, may we teachers and assembly of disciples, contaminated by impurities due to murder of blood relatives and pollution, be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. May those contaminated by pollutions of the hearth or by scorching be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood.
May those contaminated by adulteries, sterility, menstruation, or legitimate child be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. May those contaminated by leprosy, impaired health, pollution of degenerate lesions
be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood.
May those contaminated by fragrance, stench, and dull smell be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. May those contaminated by the undead, living, murdered, and blood relations be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. May those contaminated by negative beings, butchers, oath eaters, and murderers be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. May those contaminated by unclean offerings made during a ransom ritual be purified by the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood. Moreover, through the medicinal fragrance of supreme wood, may all the impurities and contaminations without exception be purified and become like cloudless sky. May all be luminous like the sky and moon and stars. May all increase like the waxen moon. May all blossom like 1,000-petaled flowers. May all ripen like the 6 kinds of grain in autumn. May the governments be stable like the Mount Meru. May all needs and hopes be fulfilled like wish-granting jewels. May the Dharma lineage shine forth like the sun and the moon. May retinue disciples multiply like galaxies. May cattle increase like vegetation. May fame and reputation pervade like thunder. May we possess long life, good health, be free of sickness, and have happiness. May we live 100 years and see 100 autumns. May all be auspicious, happy, and prosperous.
Thinking that all of the various pollutions due to the afflictions, due to the negative karma of sentient beings, due to broken and degenerated samaya, that through the power of prayers, through the power of blessings of our Guru, inseparable from Guru Padmasambhava, and especially the power of this blessed incense that now has, the smoke of which has pervaded the entire 10 directions of the universe. Think then that all of the illnesses, all of the spirit harm, all of the negative karma, all of the mental afflictions, and all of the obscurations to both liberation and omniscience are completely purified in the minds of all the sentient beings, not just of this world, but the whole universes of the 10 directions. Okay, so we can do the dedication. Go to the normal prayer book that we use, prayers and practices for COVID-19. La, huh?
Finish this in version only.
Oh,
Or you already?
okay. So I think many of you already have the prayers and practices for COVID-19, the normal booklet that we use in our daily practice. If not, maybe someone can put the link on. And then we've just gotten a request to do the Vajra armor practice. So we can do that.
Well, you
Actually-
can also get from the FPT website.
Yeah. Actually, why don't we also do the Tang Tong Gyalpo prayer? It's short. So the prayer written by the great Mahasiddha Tang Tong Gyalpo, liberating Sakya from disease. So if you don't have it, you can go to Google and type in FPMT Tang Tong Gyalpo, liberating Sakya from disease, and hit enter.
Koshi.
Hmm?
Koshi.
Huh? Or Ecosia, the search engine that plants trees.
Oh, duck, go. The search engine that doesn't track you.
Okay, so the actual prayer in the normal booklet, it's on page 32. So please think in this way. May all the disease that sat in the minds of sinning beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of God's spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas,
not
not
occur in the realms of the world.
May whatever
The
disease
sufferings derive from life-threatening diseases, like a butcherating an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose name terrify beings,
as though they had been placed inside the mouth of Yama,
the Lord of Death.
May all embodied beings
Beings be unharmed by 80,000 classes of interferences, the 860 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth.
May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. And may the body and mind have radiance and power, and be endowed with long life,
good health, and well-being.
by
The compassion of the Gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the kings, Dhamma protectors, and guardians, by the power of the truth and infallibility of karma and results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled.
So now the Vajra armor practice. So again, those of you with the requisite initiation, first purify into emptiness and then arise as the Vajra armor deity. Or you can arise as another deity. Or you can do it on the basis of the deity visualized in the space in front. So first purifying, again, the impure appearances into emptiness. Om Sabhava Shuddha Savadama Sabhava Shuddhoham Tombani Vibhyor. I become the very ferocious dark blue Vajrapani, holding a Vajra and snake lasso. My holy body is complete with the glorious ornaments of the charnel grounds, and I stand with my 2 feet stretched out on the lotus and sun. I abide amidst a blazing, transcendental wisdom fire. From my holy body, fire Garudas, iron scorpions, black pigs, wind, fire, and the noxious vapors of poison are emitted like violent winds and hailstorms, destroying all disease, epidemic spirits, spirit harms, and interferers. Okay, so now maintaining that visualization, we recite the Vajra armor mantra. We'll just do a few together, and then we'll do silent. Hopefully, all of you have memorized this by now, so it can go a lot quicker. Om Bezabe Om Pemashari Pe Namashi Nagananda Dasarita Ananavajana Raja Soa Om Bezabe Om Pemashari Pe Namashi Nagananda Dasarita Ananavajana Raja Soa Om Bezabe Om Pemashari Pe Namashi Nagananda Dasarita Ananavajana Raja Soa Om Bezabe Om Pemashari Pe Namashi Nagananda Dasarita Ananavajana Raja Soa Om Bezabe Om Pemashari Pe Namashi Nagananda Dasarita Ananavajana Raja Soa Om Bezabe Om Pemashari Pe Namashi Nagananda Dasarita Ananavajana Raja Soa Om Bezabe Om Pemashari Pe Namashi Nagananda Dasarita Ananavajana Raja Soa Om Bezabe Om Bezabe Om Pemacharari Pe Nemashi Nananang Taida Zabrita Hana Hana Bhajana Raja Raja Soha. So then you can blow on water. You can blow on medicinal ointment or butter even to then apply on the skin. Or at the very least, just blow. Make sure the air goes up into your nostrils. So we did those two. So Lama Zopa Rinpoche, he said that this prayer, liberating Sakya from disease, is very good to pacify the illness in the world. And then the Vajra armor is particularly good to prevent oneself from getting sick, or if you are sick, to then recover quickly, so that you can continue to practice Dharma. So then at the end of the session, think that all the disease and spirit harm, as well as the negative karma and obscurations, are totally destroyed. Then abide for a while in the state of meditation on emptiness, that all phenomena lack inherent existence. And therefore, since phenomena lack inherent existence, yet they exist. They exist as a dependent arising. They depend on other phenomena. And so, since phenomena depend on other phenomena, when those phenomena on which they depend change, they too can change. Therefore, illnesses can be purified, negative karma can be purified, and the obscurations to both liberation and omniscience can also be abandoned. So then, while everything lacks inherent existence, it still exists as dependent designation. And so then one arises again as the deity's holy body. Okay. So now we'll do dedication on page 40.
The birds are already dedicating.
Due to all the roots of virtue accumulated in the 3 times by myself, all sentient beings and all the Buddhas, through any sentient being merely seeing, remembering, or touching me, may I fulfill all the hopes of all transmigrating beings perfectly and completely, just like a wish-fulfilling jewel or a wish-fulfilling tree. May all the negative karma and obscurations accumulated since the beginning of birth be instantly and completely purified. May the mind of enlightenment that cherishes others more than oneself be generated in one's mental continuum, having easily generated the great sea of clear light in their minds. May they quickly achieve the state of highest complete enlightenment. In short, by pleasing the holy virtuous master, with the activities of much listening that brings to completion the realization of the Muni's intent, may I spread the teachings of the victorious ones in the 10 directions. So now page 41, to actualize bodhicitta. O Janchu Sancho Rinpoche Make Panam Gyuji Yawa Nyamba Mebayam Kone Kondu Gawa Sho. Samsara and Nirvana lack even an atom of mere existence, and cause and effect independent arising or unbetraying. I seek your blessings to discern the meaning of Nagarjuna's thought, that these two are mutually complementary and not contradictory. May the precious realization of the two stages not yet born arise. May that arisen not decline, but increase more and more. Due to all the past, present, and future merits collected by me, the numberless Buddhas and numberless living beings, may all wars, sickness, famine, and economic problems in the world, and all dangers of earth, water, fire, and wind be pacified immediately. May perfect peace and happiness prevail in everyone's hearts and lives. By their generating loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, may all Buddha Dharma last for a long time, and may the sentient beings in this world meet the Buddha Dharma and achieve enlightenment as quickly as possible. Determined to obtain the greatest possible benefit from all sentient beings, who are more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel, I shall hold them most dear at all times. And due to all the past, present, and future merits collected by me, the numberless Buddhas and numberless sentient beings, which are completely empty of existence from their own side, may I, who am completely empty of existence from my own side, achieve the state of full enlightenment, which is completely empty of existence from its own side, and lead all sentient beings who are completely empty of existence from their own side to that state which is completely empty of existence from its own side, by myself alone, who am completely empty of existence from my own side. O Jambel Pavo Jida Kamba Dang Kundo Zambo Deyang Deshinte Deda Kungi Jesu Daloje Gyawa Deda Tamche Ratumo Dushin Shebe Gyawa Tamche Mo Kanda Jotu Nabade Dagi Giwe Sawa Dikun Kyan Sabe Juju Ratu Moa Rengi. So now the long life prayer for the soul refuge of all sentient beings in the three realms. Jikten Kangir Next, a long life prayer for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, written by Khadro. Through illuminating all your appearance dispels the darkness, you clear mind knows the 84,000 heaps of Dharma, the power of the remedy of the 84,000 delusions. You proclaim the banner rising in itself as victorious in battle with the Mars. I worship the supremely kind great Vajradhara on my crown. Clarifying the scriptures and realizations, the teachings of the Muni, you spread and illuminate those teachings wherever they have not yet spread in the world. Having become an actual son of the conqueror, you bear hardship with patience. In your continuum is the realization of the perfection of wisdom, subtle dependent rising. Precious jewel, Lord, possessing love and compassion, liberates upon seeing,
Treasure
mastery in all the rising interpreted and definitive scriptures,
supremely great among the great, fully comprehending and clarifying the meaning of
emptiness of compassion,
You guide all beings
in
in the path of liberation.
liberation,
Perfectly qualified spiritual friend, my Guru, please remain forever. She who protects from the fears of 3 times Aryatar,
please increase the lifespan and
activities of the beings who serve the Holy Dharma,
and always without separation,
develop
their
their
spontaneous
spontaneous
actions
by the infallible deities of the 3 roots.
roots.
May
May all be auspicious. Okay, so let's also just dedicate briefly. Thinking due to the merit accumulated over the past, present, and future by ourselves as well as numberless sentient beings and numberless Buddhas. May all the beings who have recently died, all the beings who are currently in the bardo, may they instantly be reborn in a pure land where they can achieve enlightenment, or at the very least, attain a perfect human rebirth, meet with the Mahayana virtuous friend, perfect Mahayana virtuous friend, practice the Mahayana Dharma, attain all the realizations, particularly bodhicitta and emptiness, and attain enlightenment in their very next life. Then we dedicate all the merits accumulated by ourselves, as well as the numberless sentient beings and numberless Buddhas over the 3 times. That all the beings who are currently sick, whether with the COVID-19 virus or any other illness, and then once they have completely recovered, may they live the most meaningful life by practicing the Mahayana Dharma, and again, getting the realizations of bodhicitta and the correct view of emptiness, and achieve the state of no more learning, the state of Vajradhara, in this very lifetime. Then we also dedicate all the merits accumulated over 3 times by ourselves, as well as the numberless Buddhas and numberless sentient beings, for all of the required conditions for sentient beings to sustain and promote life, including all the various medicines, medical care, medical equipment, food, wealth, shelter, everything that's needed to sustain life. May it come effortlessly to sentient beings, all of them, as if each sentient being possessed a wish-fulfilling jewel. And then may all of these, wealth, resources, and so forth, never become a cause for sentient beings to develop clinging, attachment, or greed, but it always become a cause for only means this life. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you for your patience with the conditions here. Thank you also to Chokra Samling and all of you. So we did this at this time today, so our brothers and sisters in Europe could join us. We're doing another one tomorrow morning, Indian time, and well, maybe that'll be convenient for some other of you. Maybe those in New Zealand will find it easier. Okay. So anyway, thank you very much, and take care. Maintain the guidelines set out by your governments and health officials, and more importantly, live in accordance with the guideline of the Buddha and live life with bodhicitta. Okay, namaste, tashilila.
Thank you.